Yes. That still did the thing where it just launches us in. Big up everyone. Kind of like breaking news, but I didn't put breaking on it because it's not breaking anymore. It was like breaking news last night / this morning. It's been a pretty mad night for us City fans. We've been in a weird position where we don't really know what transfers are happening. We're only being linked to wingers. And yeah, it's just kind of moved pretty fast. So as you can see by the title, it is about Lucas Paqueta from West Ham. People saying LB's in prison, as someone just said in the chat. Is he still in jail? Yes. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts, bro? First, like initial thoughts.
Just sold your stock to Pep Guardiola. Just sold your stock to Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, that's sick. That's sick to be fair. That's sick to be fair.
That's my thoughts.
I rate that. I rate that. You want him or not want him? Like first things, like I see a lot of people having like different opinions.
Yeah, I kind of can't decide if I want him because I like his song or I like him as a footballer. I do like Paqueta. I do like Paqueta, and I think he wasn't being used properly. He only came into West Ham last January, I believe, for 50 million from Lyon, and he's contracted to 2027. We'll talk about the logistics of getting the deal done because I think they would be super hard anyway, alone. But I like him. I do like him as a player. I think he wasn't being used properly. He was playing in a slightly deeper role at West Ham, and he still got something like 5 goals and 7 assists across the Conference League and the Premier League last season for West Ham, which isn't bad, to be fair to him. So he's 25. He's a creative player, bit of experience as well. Yeah, I'm kind of here for it if Pep wants him.
I kind of want. I kind of want him. I've not really thought about it. We got linked to him last season. Obviously, they signed him for what, like 38 million or something like that, 40 mil or something. But then we're looking at upwards of £70 million, which is pretty wild. I've seen a lot of people potentially talking about the inclusion of Kalvin Phillips in any deal for Paqueta, which I could probably see happening, but I imagine Kalvin Phillips won't want to do that. It kind of just popped off last night, so I'll go through the sources. Before I do, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 80k. We're going to do a shirt giveaway at 80k. And also, please like the stream. It does help the channel grow, and it's massively appreciated by all of us at City Extra. They're currently on 270 likes. There's 575 people in here. It's always a 50%, you know. It's always around 50%.
We need to break that 50% mold, chat. Let's try to get it up to like 60, 75%, man. Smash the like button, innit?
Yeah. So big up the other 50%. Y'all need to start starting to working, man. Right. So it started off last night. TalkSport came out as like there was a few like weird sources, but then TalkSport came out, said City want to sign Lucas Paqueta. However, West Ham are reluctant to sell, and obviously, as we all know, TalkSport, bit of a weird one's trust, but quite a few people on Twitter kind of say like they do their sources do get things right quite often. So not sure in it, not sure. Don't listen to them, but maybe their source is right. Well, it clearly is because it's popped off since that moment. Instantly straight after that, Geglobo at Geglobo. I have no idea what it is. They have 6.4 million followers. Said breaking. Man City have made a £70 million proposal to West Ham for Lucas Paqueta. The London club have not yet responded, but are expected to reject it and ask for more money. I think that's one of the main issues that people keep seeing with this Paqueta deal is the amount of cash that they're going to want, and obviously 70 million not being enough. And then the Bombazzo came from Fabrizio. Man City have concrete interest in Lucas Paqueta, as confirmed by Fabrizio, and talks have taken place with West Ham this week. It's not an easy negotiation. City have now added him to their targets. So that's kind of like what happened last night. Fabrizio confirming it. We've got an initial like fee that we're seeing of £70 million. And even that apparently is going to get rejected.
I would expect that. I would absolutely expect that. He's contracted until 2027, Paqueta, and he's probably their best playmaker now. They've already lost Declan Rice this summer, who was the main man in the squad. they won't view it as ideal to lose both Declan Rice and Lucas Paqueta in one summer. So there's an even higher tax on the price of signing Lucas Paqueta. So I don't actually blame West Ham. I don't blame West Ham for overpricing a player that they simply just don't want to lose. Like, it's perfectly understandable. It's the exact same way that we are with Bernardo Silva. We know he's a high value player, but we also don't want to lose him. We want him on our squad, so we're going to put anybody who wants to come in and get him. You're going to have to pay big dough for him.
Yeah, they do have a thing, an £85 million release clause. Apparently becomes active next season.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably trying to like move in that direction, like get upwards of that, or around that price anyway. So it's a bit of a weird one. It's a bit of a weird one because of the amount of cash that is put into this, and obviously £70 million not being available straight up. I've seen people saying £70 million plus Kalvin Phillips. So, but that is cash. That's cash. Harley says I beg 60 plus Kalvin. Plus the other thing with just throwing Kalvin Phillips onto this deal, Kalvin Phillips might not want to go. He might not agree to that. He has a contract at City.
It's not as simple as telling Kalvin, sorry, mate, you're going to West Ham now. Like that, you're throwing in an extra part of negotiations there, and that's speaking with Kalvin Phillips, who's made it very clear all summer since last season ended that he's desperate to stay. And he wants to fight for his place. So it's nowhere near as straightforward as like pressing X on your PlayStation remote and sending the player down to London. So I don't think that would be straightforward. I think putting Kalvin in this deal at all won't happen. I just don't see Kalvin Phillips agreeing to leaving Manchester City this summer.
I agree.
I understand from West Ham that they want, if they're going to sell Paqueta this summer, they'll want at least, I think, a matching of what his release clause is next summer.
Yeah, I
think
agree.
At the very least, they'll want that, and probably some very achievable add-ons too. So you're probably looking at around the £90 million mark if you want to go and get Paqueta. I didn't really buy into it too much when I saw the TalkSport thing. I didn't buy into it too much when I saw those kind of paper reports and, just rumor mill kind of thing. But when Fabrizio said it, I was like, all right, so clearly City do have an interest in Lucas Paqueta. And how far would we be willing to push for this player? I don't know. Could you chat, and you, bro, could you tell me, do you see City going in and spending £90 million on Lucas Paqueta?
I don't think City pay that much. I don't think they paid 90 million. I think that's just too much for City. I think we've gone in at 70 million. So we've gone in high. So
we haven't actually put in a formal bid, though, have we? It's not a formal bid.
No, well, apparently the £70 million is what we're kind of, no formal, but we don't mean that never really happens until they've agreed a fee anyway. Like, so I think City kind of just go in, it's 70 million, and then, but there must be leeway for City. They must know that West Ham are going to want more than that. There's got to be some deal in that. So maybe City are like willing to pay around 80 to 85 million. I don't know. It's a really, really strange situation, especially seeing as though they paid like £40 million for him last season. It does look very good. I have seen a lot of people kind of raise issues with his consistency, saying that he's a little bit inconsistent. But under Pep, we all said coming out of that weekend that I get the game against Arsenal that we did lack creativity. He's someone that does bring creativity into that midfield. So I think I can get why City are going for it. I can get it.
It's also never a case of you're just getting the player that he is at West Ham. He's 25 years old. There's room for development, playing with better players around him. I always say this, chat. I'm like a broken record. Any player we bring in, Pep's going to get more out of. He's already a very creative spark. So I don't think the interest in Paqueta comes as a surprise. I fully understand why Pep is interested in him and why Man City have identified him. But I think dealing with any or most of the clubs, I'd say City could probably get this deal done with ease. But as we learned this summer, dealing with West Ham, it proves to be quite difficult. I mean, Arsenal's negotiations for Declan Rice, they were dragged out. West Ham and Arsenal, it took them a long, long time to strike an agreement. And I think it would possibly be even more difficult considering the timing. There's not a huge amount of time left in the transfer window to get this deal done, and the importance of the player in their squad. They'll have aspirations. They're going to be in European competition again this summer or this season. And and then they'll want to make a statement in the Premier League if they can. They're trying to get Maguire, they're trying to get McTominay, so they're trying to at the very least level up. They won't want to lose their major assets. We said this about Brighton when we spoke about Matoma on that stream. Brighton have European football. Brighton won't want to lose all their biggest assets with European football for the first time ever while they're flying high in terms of Premier League. So going into any negotiation with West Ham for their main man right now, it's going to prove to be difficult. It's going to prove to be very difficult. It's going to be a test of how much City want them.
Yeah, it is. It is a weird one. And City going high straight away, man. Like with the £70 million. So City clearly do want the guy. They do rate him. We'll have to wait and see with how this moves, but it's moving very, very, very quickly, is what I'd say. It might drag on, but there's things popping left, right, and centre. And now we did say yesterday, we did a stream on Matoma yesterday for people who want potentially to go back and watch the Matoma stream, because it was kind of linked with him a little bit. Paper talk, really. We said in that City are basically moving in one direction. Well, in either two directions. We go get a winger, and then you keep Foden for more of like a midfield role. And then you can bring Bernardo into midfield, the versatility there. Or we're going to go get a creative midfielder, and then Foden will play predominantly more as a winger. So now this, to me, tells me that we'll see more Foden right wing again.
Yeah, I mean, it would do. I think his most natural position, Paqueta, is as an attacking midfielder, even though just based off what I saw on his transfer mark, he has experience in almost every part of the pitch, apart from striker and goalkeeper. Paqueta he's got versatility in his locker. So once again, another very clear attribute as to why Pep Guardiola will be interested in him. It's all about different options, though, isn't it? I mean, Paqueta would definitely come in and add a different option to our other midfield signing this summer in Kovacic. Paqueta's a much more creative player than Mateo Kovacic is currently, anyway. So, yeah, maybe it would lean towards Phil Foden spending a bit more time on the wing this season, even though we've all kind of spoke about him being a midfielder. I don't really know, but would Paqueta come in and be a starting 11 option? I mean, that's another question. When you have De Bruyne, Foden, Bernardo, is Paqueta an option to start anyways? But I think I don't know if you have the reports there you're going to go into them, but the word is that Paqueta's head has been like fully turned. He wants this move.
Yeah. So obviously we went through the news that popped off last night. This morning, Sami Mokbel, chief reporter of the Daily Mail, said he's confirmed that City have launched a £70 million offer for Lucas Paqueta. West Ham are determined to keep the player. He also said that City are actively trying to sign him ahead of the transfer deadline and are pushing to complete a deal. Then, more news, and this is the big bombazzo one, with David Ornstein also coming out and saying Man City are exploring a deal to sign Lucas Paqueta, but are yet to make a formal offer. So he's saying the formal offer has not gone in yet. Sami Mokbel from Daily Mail is saying that we've sent a £70 million offer there. So, I mean, it depends on which way you go with it. Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian has come out and said Lucas Paqueta is interested in joining Man City. There have been indications that Paqueta has grown unsettled and he's considering his future. Every journo and his dog is getting on this deal right now. There's more. Fabrizio Romano came out again this morning and said City have approached West Ham with a verbal discussion over a £70 million package. So not a formal offer, but it's something that we have been speaking about around that price. Apparently the £70 million package is deemed not good enough for West Ham. City will try again, with Pep Guardiola always being a fan of the midfielder. That does tie into last season. We did get linked with Paqueta if Bernardo was to leave. But obviously ended up going to West Ham. Rob Dawson from ESPN, he says a move for Paqueta is viewed by Man City as separate to anything that could happen with Bernardo Silva's future. However, City are increasingly confident of keeping Bernardo, as we've spoke about previous. Sky Sports News then came out and said West Ham will not begin to even consider selling Paqueta for less than £85 million. However, the player's head has been turned by City's interest. So it's something that basically that he's liking it. He's liking the idea of a move to Man City.
Lot to dissect there, bro. There's a huge amount to dissect there. There's a lot of information to dissect.
There's loads. So there's no £70 million there's no £70 million offer for a start yet. It's no formal offer anyway. It's just a conversation from City, which West Ham have firmly rejected, basically.
Yeah. But that kind of just ties into what you were saying a few minutes ago. They won't probably put in the formal bid until there's pretty much an agreement. All parties are satisfied with
till they find out the price in it, and then they kind of like settle on something.
Yeah, I'd love to know, and I love hearing things like his head's turned, because it does make it kind of go, oh, this guy wants to come now.
Let's get excited then, isn't it?
Yeah, let's test his resolve. Let's see how badly Paqueta wants it. Would he put in a transfer request? Would he start asking, I want to go? Could that help us in our pursuit? But yeah, I'm glad it doesn't tie in with the Bernardo Silva situation either. I made it clear for the past few weeks that I do think we are slightly light in terms of overall depth in the front five. In the attacking area of the pitch, I think we're slightly light in just different types of players. We were always very satisfied with you do De Bruyne and then Gundo or Bernardo as an option beside that, depending on what style you want to go with, depending who you're playing against. I think bringing in Paqueta would definitely give us a bit more diversity in options. Then you have your Foden, you have Kovacic, more of a composer. So it would definitely add a wider array of diversity to the style of play. So I'm really glad it doesn't tie in with the Bernardo thing. I need to touch on this as well, bro. There's nearly 1,000 people in the building, and we ain't even on 500 likes.
That is poor.
Smash the like button, people. Smash the like button.
Yeah, you need to smash it, man.
Hold tight, Anne-Marie!
That's not the right one. I forget that's still there.
What was that?
There's a guy called Dugan who I know, and he goes, "Hold tight, Anne-Marie," and that's just one of the soundboard buttons. It's been there for ages, and yeah, there is a smash button somewhere. Is this it?
He's on fire!
No, I think it's gone. The smash has gone. So I'll get a smash back. I was meant to say to smash the like button. But yeah, basically, you know what I mean? It is poor. 435 people have now smashed the like button. Like you say, there's nearly 1,000 people in there. It does help us grow as a channel, and that's what we're trying to do in it. Mm-hmm. Super chats, Joseph Dalbero with a 2 says he's really good off the ball as well. That's something that Pep will like. His off the ball abilities is something that, I mean, he can't just stay still. Ain't no Messi vibes in it. BR with a 249 says poor timing in my opinion. We played Burnley in 2 days.
No, but we're not in a rush. I don't think we're in a rush. The same way we weren't in a desperate rush to get Vardy. It's not like there's a gaping hole in that particular area of the pitch that we have to that we need to put a player into straight away, or else the team won't function. We do have enough players to go out and quality players to go out and win on Friday night. But I just think if we're going to play in 6 competitions this season, and we do want to try and retain some of our honors or go for more majors again, I think we need a bit more depth. I just felt we were lacking slightly in depth in the attacking area of the pitch. So there's no desperation to get this deal done before kickoff on Friday night and get him shoehorned into the team.
Yeah, I could understand maybe BR's point of like it maybe being a bit unsettling for the team, but I don't see why. Like it's more depth. We've lost players in that area, so I think City basically just. End of the day, we're going into the season now, so we're going to be playing every week. So we just got to do it at some point. And there was rumours about this going around on Monday, Tuesday. That's it. That we're kind of starting to look at it. I'm going to sec. My headset has just died. Please hold.
Rip headset, man. Chat, I am reading what you guys are saying in the building regarding Paqueta. It seems to be there's an overwhelming amount of you would like Paqueta. There's a few Paqueta fans as well. I like Paqueta. I do like Paqueta.
Right, I've reloaded. King Harlan with a 2 says, no, Paqueta. I won't be gassed if we sign him.
The thing is, like, we have this conversation about strikers, we have it about wingers. There is a bit of a drought when it comes to like big hitting names that you could come in and that you get excited about. I mean, can you name me another midfielder in the world that is attainable right now that we could probably go in and at least have a good chance of getting them, that you go, wow, that's the guy?
The only person I could only say one, and that'd be Valverde. I think could get everyone gassed. He plays obviously.
Valverde would get everyone gassed.
He'd get everyone gassed.
He'd be difficult, man.
But he would be difficult to get. I think Florian Wirtz as well. People keep saying bringing him up, but he's just got the number 10 shirt, and I'm pretty sure they're not willing to sign him until 2024. Barella, a lot of people say as well. But I see what you're saying though. There isn't like a major amount of numbers that are attainable. Kimmich hasn't he already come out and said that he wants to stay at Bayern?
Yeah, so, we ain't getting Kimmich.
Kimmich ain't it. Dave Tim, yes, with a super chat says, I think we can include Kalvin into the deal and make Kovacic as the backup for Rodri. It's just if Kalvin wants to go to West Ham.
In theory, I actually agree. I agree. And chat, you know me as a Kalvin fan, I'd be saying to get the Paqueta deal done. If Kalvin agreed to that, I'd full send it. I'd say put Kalvin as part of the deal. But all we can work off is what Kalvin himself has said, and he's ran the line all summer. He's desperate to stay at City. He's desperate to fight for his place, and he wants to work his way into Pep's plans. If he doesn't have any other alternative to that in his own head, there's absolutely nothing we can do. He's contracted as a Manchester City player. We can't force him to leave. We were willing to move Zinchenko to Wolves a couple summers ago, if you remember correctly. We accepted a bid from Wolves for Zinchenko, but he said, "Nah, I'm refusing it myself. I don't want to go."
Fight.
Yeah, I get it if you don't see immediate plans for me in your squad right now, but I'd like to work. I want to stay and try and work my way in. So if that's the case with Kalvin, there's literally nothing City can do about it. He's contractually, has the right to stay at Manchester City. If he doesn't want to go, we can't tell him you're gone. So it's not as simple as that. It's really not.
Yeah. King Haaland again with a 2 says, JP, is there a City Extra Fantasy Premier League this season? Yes, there is. I did a poll in the community tab about whether you want FPL Fridays to come back on a Friday. We can work out a time. And the result of that is kind of leaning towards so we can do the FPL again and get an FPL going and FPL streams, which is good. Mohammed with a 2 says, don't see Foden being a starter under Pep, sadly.
Whatever.
No, I think so. I think
Foden, whether it's in midfield or on the wing, will work his way into being a starting 11 player this season. I think he'll stamp a mark that he's now a main man. I think this is the season he does it. I just don't know whether it'll be midfield or on the wing.
Yeah, I think I think he'll get a lot of game time this year. I think I'm backing Foden to have a really good season.
So am I.
Cronenberg in the chat. By the way, I've seen MCFC lads before. Big up MCFC lads. Cronenberg said that sold my car chant is enough alone to swerve this guy. I don't like it.
I love that chant. I love that chant. I think it's sick. Could you imagine the South stand in the Etihad after he scores or we win a big game? Just sold my car to Lucas Paqueta. It's sick, man. For those of you who go to the games, you'll know that the South Stand has now got a DJ. That there's like new bar, and then the DJ plays tunes at halftime. It's sick. It's a bit of a rave. Imagine that going. Dun, 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 dun. That'd be sick.
That'd be popping off. Cronenberg ain't buying it. Mohammed ain't buying it. He's got the sick emoji. He's like, nah, not having it.
Come on, man. Lighten up.
Chase to bet with the 32 months. Yes, Chase says, I like the depth he brings to midfield. If Kev and Phil would pick up a bad injury, our midfield gets thin quick and lacks creativity. I like it. I like the deal. I think the cash is just major, and obviously, like, it ain't our money, I guess you could say, but it's a lot of money, man, for him, and I don't know if City are gonna buy that.
It's also today's market, man. It's today's market. It's like, 10 years ago, you're paying 75, 80 million pounds for one of the top hitters in that position in world football. But because of today's market and the money that you do see the likes of Rice going for, and the money that we would be demanding for Bernardo Silva, and even the likes of money that Mason Mount's going for, and then you factor in what value that player is to his current team and his current manager and the club, you're going to have to spend silly money. I don't agree with the price. Trust me, I don't agree with the price at all, chat. But if you want the player, unfortunately, today's market says you have to pay it.
Pay up or shut up, innit?
Exactly.
Edward Porter with a 2 says Paqueta will push West Ham to sell Jacob Steinberg. Yeah, so on that, Jacob Steinberg has come out and said that Paqueta is interested in joining Man City. He's unsettled, he's considering his future. So people are saying maybe he hands in a contract. Maybe he hands in a transfer. What's it called? Fucking
request.
Transfer request, yeah. And also, he has said that Paqueta's going to push West Ham to let him join Man City, who are preparing a bid to sign the midfielder. So,
Hugh, you got 70 million. Tone, if I had 70 million, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, to be fair, anyone got 70 million, we ain't sat here, innit?
But that kind of just references what I was saying. I'd love to know how much his head has turned. You know what I mean? Is it like a 90 degree, or is it a 180, or how far has his head turned? Does he really, really want it? How far is Paqueta willing to push to make this deal happen? And based off that
owl
report,
mode, innit? I want him full owl mode, innit? 360 head.
yeah, Paqueta. Do you know what I mean? Is how badly does he want to come to Manchester City? If he really wants to come, he'll push. He'll tell West Ham, you let me go up to Manchester, man. I want to join Pep's treble winners. That's the kind of pulling power we have now, and I think we need to flex that. I think if Pep wants Paqueta, he should be getting on the phone to him. Listen, Lucas, man, you need to tell the boys that you want to come up. So we'll see.
Yeah. Eric Bergstrom in 9 months. I just seen that 360 head. Eric Bergstrom says, doing a boring radio show right now. Thanks for getting me through it, boys. Just have to turn you down when I'm talking. Yes, Eric, mate. Hope your boring radio show goes well. And glad we can be of assistance. And Mohammed with the 2 says, also Grealish needs competition. He's too comfortable. Can Paqueta play on the wing or not?
I believe he could. Some people in the chat saying you could play him on the right wing, but he is one of these skillful, creative players. And like I said, he's got experience in most attacking positions that you could move him onto the left wing. You definitely could.
I mean, a lot of people,
and
a lot of people are saying, yeah. And Pep loves to move him about, innit?
Mm-hmm,
he can play right and left. That's decent.
There you go, man.
The latest kind of news on Paqueta is Jay Burt from the Telegraph has come out and said Paqueta's £85 million release clause, which becomes active next summer, could be a figure used as part of discussions between City and West Ham, which, like as we've said, that seems to make sense. I think that is the latest on Paqueta. Now, it's still a lot of money. It is still a lot of money. Peyton with a 17 months says, yes, lads, I'm so ready for Friday. Paqueta is a good player, but I feel most fans just like/want him because he's Brazilian and the song. But he'd rate it, though. He'd rate the signing.
I've been fully honest since we started the stream. There is a huge part of my wanting of Paqueta because I do really like his song. I do really, really like his song. But no, I mean, he is a player that he does excite me a little bit. You know what I mean? He does intrigue me as to what Pep Guardiola could do with Lucas Paqueta. You need to sprinkle a bit of that Brazilian samba creative football in there, and he would absolutely bring that. So yeah, I'm here for it.
Faraz says we missed the samba that he had. So
exactly,
does he bring that? Is that what he's going to bring? I've got his stats here. He played 43 games, 3,000 minutes. He's got 5 goals and 7 assists in those games. But obviously, you got to expect, if he was to come to City, I imagine every player usually goes up a level when they come to City. So
at least 25-30%.
How old is
if the player is fully committed and engaged with Pep and the betting in process goes well, 25-30% at least.
Yeah, he's 25. So I rate it. I rate it. I kind of just want it because it's a bit more creativity in the midfield.
Exactly.
It's more creative depth. I rate it. I'd go for it, but at the same time, it's a lot of money, and I can see why people would have issues for it. It's moving fast though. It's a deal that is moving very fast. Like it all kicked off around midnight last night. They've had news all throughout today. So I imagine City and West Ham are in like full talks right now about the cash that's involved. It could be one that just comes and goes. Like, it could be a situation where West Ham turn around and go, look, we ain't going to sign for anything less than £85 million. And City just turn around and go, well, that's kind of well over our budget, so we're going to swerve this.
Yeah. I think if City want him bad enough, I'd say go and spend the 85. Go and spend the 85. You know what I mean?
The thing is, that's kind of different with this and the Declan Rice. Declan Rice, we full sent that, innit? I mean, we full sent it. Big money bid, but nothing happened with it, and it seemed like Rice's camp was open to seeing what Arsenal were offering, and City were like, nah, we want you need to want to join Man City. Whereas with this, City have gone in with this, talking about the £70 million deal or the price for him, and he's getting his head turned. Everything is pointing towards, all the sources are saying that Paqueta wants the move himself, he's going to push West Ham for it, and City love that. City are all over that. Do you remember when Mahrez... we wanted him to hand in a transfer request. I think he did hand in a transfer request. It just got rejected. But then, so City kind of love that kind of side of things. They want the player to show for City that they want to be there.
Well, I know we're talking about the price and we're talking about how hard it would be to get done, but Paqueta himself has a say in this. He has a say in whether this transfer happens or not. If he kicks up a fuss enough, I know he won't want to burn relationships too badly with West Ham fans, but it's his own career he's thinking about here, and moving to City is the next step that he obviously deems is the best one. So if he wants it badly enough, he can put the pressure on West Ham. I mean, they won't want to go into a season with their best player or one of their best players unhappy with the outcome, unsettled, and wishing he wasn't there. So that's something they will factor in as well. What the player wants.
Anthony says with the 2 says we need to go buy him. A lot of people on that 77% in that vote, or 76% finished as. I did a poll saying, would you like Paqueta at Manchester City? 76% people saying yes, 23% people no. So it is, I mean, it's majorly in favour of City going and signing him. ALX with a 10 says, imagine him dancing at the Etihad. I mean, that's how Hugh said, in it, bringing that samba. And he said preview tomorrow. Yeah, there'll be a preview for the Burnley game tomorrow. Solo with a 2 says Foden is a better winger than the wingers linked, and maybe that is something that City is saying. Like, Foden, you're better there than anyone that we can go and get. So let's go get a midfielder instead.
Absolutely, I think it all makes sense. I think there's an obvious plan. It's obvious that it's in control. So. A lot of people saying Wirtz, man. There's nothing concrete about Florian Wirtz. There's no point talking about it. There's nothing coming out about Wirtz for us to even talk about.
Yeah, and the only thing coming out about Wirtz is that he's just been given the number 10, and apparently they don't want to sell him to Arsenal 2024. So that's the only thing that I've seen. So the Wirtz thing is in the bin as much as you want to spam it. I've done another poll in the chat, by the way, if people want to vote on this. Would you sign Paqueta for £85 million? And I've done that as like, I did the would you like to sign Paqueta, but then I want to see how the money factors into this, because we've got 54% of people saying, yes, it's not my money. And then 47% of people are saying, no, it's way too much.
You can call me, I don't know, selfish or whatever, but it ain't my money. I'm not losing a penny if City go and spend 85 million on Lucas Paqueta. And the thing is, if Pep wants him bad enough, like if Pep's sitting there in the boardroom with Tiki and Khaldoon saying, listen, I need Lucas Paqueta, get me Lucas Paqueta. Go and spend the 85 million and give Pep what he wants. I don't believe in not giving the successful manager the tools he needs to sustain success. If Pep wants him, spend the money. Simple as from me. If Pep really wants Paqueta, 85 million, sign the check. Get it done.
Kichiro says, I'm with Hugh. Fuck y'all. Let's go, Hugh. A lot of people saying, wish it was my money. I wish it was my money.
Wish it was my money.
But I guess Pep clearly likes him because he was interested last year, and if Pep sees him as the guy to go and get, then I trust him. Trust him, Pep, always.
We can't complain about money when we know the way the market is right now. So don't be surprised when you're not happy with the price that's been quoted to go and get a player that Pep wants. But if Pep wants a player and you bear in mind the market, you just have to pay it. There's literally nothing you can do. We're not always going to get brilliant deals like Alvarez for 20 million, Haaland for 51. Sometimes you're going to have to just pay more for a good player because of the way the market is right now, and Pep wants him. Simples.
Yeah. Same thing with Fortins R says people want players based on FIFA stats. Unreal. FIFA does play a big part of it. I've seen people nowadays putting like ultimate team cards up and saying who's going to have a better season based on like the FIFA rating, which is always, it happens every year, but it never works out like that. So I guess closing thoughts then. We both take Paqueta.
Go get him, man. Pep wants him. Go and get him. Pep wants him. I want him. Simples.
Yeah, I think he'd do good at City. I think he'd do good. Like I say, it ain't my money. So I guess we're just gonna have to see the way this goes. It's one of them deals because the amount of cash it could turn around and bite you on the ass. It's one of them ones where you'll get roasted if they flop because of the amount of cash that you're spending on them. But if Pep
Game's
thinks
the game, man. Game's the game. That's the nature.
Game's a game. If Pep thinks it's a good idea to go and get him, then I back Pep. I mean, we just won a treble, man. So I back him with whatever he wants to go with going into this season. And I do think for Foden that will mean him being pushed out further onto the wing. We'll see more of right wing Foden, and we'll see more Paqueta in the midfield.
There you go. Boom.
There you go. That's your that's your update on Lucas Paqueta. Now, if anything drops during the day, like some big news, we'll be right on it straight away. The only reason I didn't stream last night is because it was like midnight. So yeah, that's it. Lauren with a 5. Yes, Lauren says, I thought it'd be a winger who will come in next. This Paqueta deal has thrown me off. Think we get him and we are done, question mark. Or if fails, get a winger.
I think if we get Paqueta, we're done. I think we get Paqueta, we're done.
Yeah.
That's it, we're done.
Get Paqueta, done, that's it, over. However, if that fails, City might then look at looking at wingers again. And just see what's...
Yeah, I don't think it's a simple case of City are just looking at, if we don't get one, we go and get the other, or we can only get one or the other. Like, the thing with Paqueta is we've just gone over. He's versatile. You know, we brought in Bernardo Silva as a winger, and he ended up playing a huge amount of time in midfield.
Yeah,
and now he's
true.
back on the wing as well. So Pep will have a plan. I don't think it's a case of you have to look at the set position. It's the attacking area of the pitch. What can Paqueta and any potential signing provide for our whole attacking complement? Not just number 8 or right wing.
Yeah. Tone thinks there'll be 2 more signings, including this one.
Maybe.
That'd be a heavy month, that, wouldn't it? It'd be a heavy month of transfers, if so. But yeah, I appreciate everyone who super chatted. Big up to all the people who've liked the stream, 50% as always. If you are watching this back on a replay, leave your comments below and let us know. Do you want Paqueta? £85 million, is that too much? Like I say, it is what it is. But yeah,
less than 50 subs off 90 or 79k.
Less than 50 off 79k, which is big because we're going to do a giveaway at 80k of one of the new kits of your choice. Big up all the people who have subscribed in this stream. Big up all the people who like the stream. Thank you all for watching. Big up all the super chatters. And yeah, we'll let you know. We'll be back. Breaking news when that happens. We'll let you know anything that drops with this Paqueta stuff. But if not, we'll see you later, innit?
Mm-hmm.
See you in a bit.